In the book called the Dictionary of Symbols, I found they had a listing for a Grecian Sphinx. And what you know about Greece is it has to have breasts like a woman, face up. They said we serve one maiden only. We serve one maiden only.
All of them?
And that's another picture of a Grecian Sphinx in a book on the Dictionary of Symbols. Now, and this is important. I was looking up, I have a definition here that if I can find, I want to show you, that has some significance. I'm going to ask, if he would, to have Brother Ashwa Kwesi come up and join me, if I could be so honored. And brother had just come in town today from out of town, and Brother Jamal and I and brother talked on the telephone, and he looked at some of the symbolism that was encased in the Grecian Sphinx. Here is a larger version. I'm going to get an even larger version, but there's certain things there that you should take a look at just before I step back a second. Remember, there's Sigma Pi Phi. Look at the tail in the form of an S. Sigma. The wings are in flight. There's the urn. The urn has significance. Now in another picture I'll show that in the urn is the 360 degrees of knowledge. There's a little wheel in there that goes, there's a little circular wheel. I'm going to show you that off of another picture. Again, we just go through another link in. There's that concept of that round table again. You got to pull back on symbols. When I looked in the Dictionary of Symbols, it said under the word pi, it says pi comes from the Chinese word that means round table. Sigma Pi Phi. Anyway, that's a whole nother discussion. Brother, I've asked brother to share with you. Let me find the best picture of it. Let's see, I said it here. Asked that he could share with you. And I'm going to ask if he would do this one again just before we do that. If he would, okay, you hold that one. I have this one here. I'll show it. I'll put it up while you do it. I can put it up. Okay. If he could explain again, just so we can get it on the camera, about what that means, which is put in there for just not arbitrary. When you're dealing in Masonic symbolism or secret society symbolism, you're not arbitrarily picking things and putting them there. And I just want him to say again what that might mean, just for the record.
First of all, I want to say hotel. And giving thanks to Brother Coakley for exposing the house Negro. Keep in mind, when you go back as far as you can, all of this, first of all, came up out of Africa. Only the symbols have been distorted, manipulated, to the point where we don't know what it means today. Now, when we go back to Prometheus, now it talks about Prometheus. Where did he have to go? When the Greeks say they had to cross the burning sands, you don't go north of Greece to cross the burning sands. There's no desert in Europe. He had to cross across the Mediterranean, and there's some burning sands there. What desert is that called? Sahara. That's where the knowledge was. He had to go to Mount Olympus. What was Mount Olympus? That was the land of Ethiopia. This is where the light of knowledge was. So in terms of passing the torch, this was symbolic of passing the light. So when the French, by the way, when they had the French Revolution there, Thomas Jefferson was also involved with that. Okay, the overthrow of the French government during that time. So when America set up here, what statue did they give to America? The Statue of Liberty. What symbol do you see the Statue of Liberty holding? The torch. The torch of what? The light of what our ancestors called Haru. The light of knowledge. All coming from African people. That's why somebody knows something about us that we don't know about ourselves. They know we're the originators of the knowledge. We are the originators here. Now, brother, you have the other one.
Which one you want? This one? Okay. Now, we were looking for, as I showed you the Grecian Sphinx in the other book, we were looking for every Grecian Sphinx we could find, and we found this in Manly Palmer Hall's book under the heading of the initiation of the pyramid. We found this picture of the Grecian Sphinx. And I know you probably read the caption under there, and you see there are certain symbols underneath it. This looks similar to, and let me just see if I can find a larger copy, brother, just to set this up for you. I want to put their logo right next to it. And I got the version of theirs, the biggest one I had right in my hand during the lecture. Right in one spot. Oh, here we go. I want to make, that ain't it. Well, I'll find it in a second. It was the best picture of that Sphinx that I had. Well, I used this other one. So it looks like I'm going to find that one. Okay, we better just go ahead off of that one. This is, brother's going to go into this a little bit and help us understand what they're trying to say here.
Now here, we're going to look at the ancient Medo-Neter symbols here. The symbol here, this is called Kepara. Kepara, this is the symbol for light. This symbol here is called Ta. This symbol here is called Neb. This one here, I'm not quite familiar with the ending here. Basically what it's saying here is self-creation of light of the landlord. Now, the feudal landlords in Europe came where? Here. So what they're saying here, they are the creation of light of the new landlords.
Oh, shit.
This is the land of the new landlords that most of us rent from the landlords.
The New World Order boys. New World Order boys.
Don't know. So that's basically what they have here. So I have right here from Kemet, long before there were any Greek freaks around, our ancestors have, there's the symbol of the Neb right here. Neb, creation. The Kepara symbol means to create. Wings meaning immortality, meaning spirit. That's what African people dealt with, African spirituality. Right. And Ra meaning the light of Haru, created in the image of Ra. Again, you see the blue, because these colors, these are our colors too, by the way. Red, white, and blue. They don't belong to the Greeks. They don't belong to America. You see the blue on top of the scarab. The scarab was symbolic of the great mind. Now, in the third degree, Brother Coakley said that it was the third degree that was the blue degree, is that right? That was the blue degree of the knowledge, is that right? So the scarab represented the cranial cavity of the brain, of the knowledge of the mind, of Ptah, the creator of the universe, the first concept of monotheism, or concept of one God. So it is here.
You have to say that over one time.
The first concept of one God.
Just 1 second. Gotcha.
So we go through the whole scarab?
Just that little, yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you, brother.
Again, you see the Neb, just like you see here. Neb means what?
Lord.
Okay? So this is Lord of creation, meaning Kepara. Wings represent spirituality. Ra, created in the image of Ra. Why did our ancestors say we were created in the image of Ra? Because we got melanin. Ra gives us color. So we're created in the image of Ra, the light of Haru. The top of the scarab looks just like the cranial cavity of the brain. This is where the knowledge is, right? That's right. This is where if we want to, our brain computer, we have to put out the knowledge that we take in, right? So it is here. The scarab was symbolic of the great mind that our ancestors called Ptah. Ptah was a one-God concept, monotheism, in pre-dynastic Egypt. We're talking about pre-dynastic, we're talking about over 20, 30,000 years ago. So it is here, the great mind of the universe, showing that the colors, again, are African, belongs to our African ancestors. Meaning the blue. When Brother Coakley was talking about the Blue Lodge, was the third degree, was the degree of what? Knowledge. Is that right? Right. So where do you see the blue at on here? On top of the scarab, the cranial cavity of the brain. Again, the red, our ancestors always did libation. Blood represented libation. White represents transcending into another state. These colors were taken off of the African temple, still there today. Many brothers have been there to see this, to witness it for themselves, who are right here in this room. Brother Jamal and many others, seeing the red, white, and blue going back over 3,000 and 4,000 years ago. So it is here that when we break down the Greek freak stuff, you've got to go back into your African ancestral knowledge to see what it goes back to. Our ancestors didn't call it the Sphinx, we call it Hermakit, meaning what? Good over evil. We call it the Sunum Bunum. who we are told that Thales, another Greek freak, who came into Africa, and originally we didn't let them in, by the way.
That's right.
But it was Ahmosis II in the 26th dynasty that let them in as mercenaries to fight the Persians. But in any case, they came in.
That's right.
And when they came in, when Ahmosis let them in, it is here where he learned the concept of the Sun and Bunum. It didn't go back to Thales. And the Sun and Bunum was a supreme good. Now, we also had our secret lodges. But it was based off of the concept of the Sun and Bunum, the supreme good for the salvation of your soul. Meaning that, I know this is going to get a little out there for a minute,
Stay with it,
that
brother.
the pineal gland in the brain, our ancestors saw was the seat of man and woman's soul, the African man and woman's soul. So, while Hamak is facing the east, when the sun rises up in the east, it hits him right in his forehead with the pineal gland, showing the suppressing of a beastly nature in man. So the Greek freaks, we didn't let them in because they were on a beastly level. I have pictures showing Greeks poking each other in the butt. You see, that's why this is not a new thing for them.
Boule.
Okay? It's not a new thing. And also about riding the hump.
Riding the hump.
Riding the hump.
Right.
You can go get the demonology of the Bible, written in 1657. Before the King James Version of the Bible, they had demonology of the Bible, and they had this goat.
That's right.
And they rode this goat. And this was the Satan worship or bestiality that they were in. So when the Masons said that they ride in the hump, this is the initiation for the beast. The beast that they're coming out of. It's all there. So they never had the concept of the Sun and Bunum, the supreme good. So our ancestors taught this because we understood that if you went at the Netarus, that they call nature today, that if you didn't go at a divine level, it would open up the negative forces of nature to you. So you had to come through initiation from your high nature, not from your low nature. So the Greek freaks who came from their low nature didn't understand none of this. So when they went at the forces of Netaru, like studying the concept of the atom, that they tell us Democritus brought the concept of the atom. No, he studied it from Kemet. That's why they were able to produce a hydrogen bomb. Because only a beast could produce a hydrogen bomb.
That's right.
Because he wanted nature at a negative, on the beastly level. Right. So the concept that we run around talking about, I'm this religion and I'm that religion, we didn't have no religion.
That's right.
We had African spirituality. Finding yourself in the universe. Something that the beasts, you see right here, represented as themselves, haven't dealt with yet. So the concept of Harmaket showing the suppressing of the beastly nature in man to rise up the Sun and Bunum. And by the way, my brother, let me mention that the Grecian maiden is on top of the Capitol building. Okay.
And they just took it down for cleaning too.
Oh, is that right?
Yes,
okay.
being cleaned right now.
Right. It's on top of the Capitol building in relationship with Brother Kofi was saying.
Wow, that's deep, that's deep, that's deep.
And by the way, there's some brothers in Japan, and they also wanted me to let you know that they're over there. The brothers brought me all the way to Japan to lecture to them in Tokyo, Yokota, and Masawa. And these are brothers who are in the military. And got conscious while they were in the service. Got conscious while they were in the service. Right. So they brought me over to lecture. And there were some in a place called Zama who unfortunately got caught with the beast. They married the cave woman. And outside of Zama, everything went smoothly. But the brothers and sisters over there were highly enlightened with the information. Only the brothers in Zama who realized that this was about African nation building, to bringing together us as an African people, and they realized that they had to give up the white wives. So they had a hard time with that, but I'll let them wrestle with that in their own dream state.
This is actually, Brother Aswar, the larger size version of the Boule's logo itself. This is off their rostrum. And as you can see, there's the urn, and there's something in the urn. Now, we've always talked about the circle within the circle as being part of that pursuit. Someone else looks at this, that's the 360 degrees of knowledge inside the urn. Is there any significance to that urn and that right paw being up?
I know that the symbol here,
you can use this.
Right off the top of my mind, I'm saying right off the top
and I don't mean to put you on the spot either.
No problem, brother. I would say that this symbol represents the sun. That's how we represent the sun. It was a circle with a dot in the middle. Okay? That's how we represented the sun. The dot may have been the pineal gland. Also, go and look in the encyclopedia under the pineal gland, and it talks about the pineal gland. It develops your sexual behavior. Excretes the melanin, excretes from your pineal gland for your development of your sexual behavior. So if the pineal gland is activated by the sun, that our ancestors have Rahamakis, or Hamakis, that the Greeks call a sphinx facing the east, if these folks did not live in the sun belt, that means they have an underdevelopment of the pineal gland.
That's right.